The headlines flash. The world held its breath. A beloved Hollywood icon was fighting for his life. But when the dust settled, the story wasn't just about survival. It was about a mystery woman, a sudden breakup, and a 2026 plot twist no one saw coming.
Oh, absolutely. It's a wild ride.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And it really is just an absolute labyrinth of a timeline we're looking at today. It kind of forces us to question, how much we actually know about the people we see on our screens.
Right, exactly. And to you, the listener, welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission right now is to unpack a headline that feels, almost too cinematic to be real.
Oh, for sure.
The headline is basically, Jamie Foxx nearly died. Now he has a secret pregnant girlfriend nobody knew about, and we are tracking the entire roller coaster of his life over the last few years.
From his terrifying near-fatal stroke in 2023 all the way to this massive May 2026 bombshell.
Yeah.
To piece this all together, we're pulling from a pretty deep stack of reporting. We have timelines and eyewitness accounts from TMZ, People, Us Weekly, Page Six, and Hollywood Life.
A lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah, and what makes this specific stack of sources so compelling is how they document this crazy collision between, the ultimate Hollywood comeback story and an intensely private modern romance.
It really is a narrative of absolute extremes. To even begin to understand where Jamie Foxx is sitting right now in 2026, we have to rewind to April 2023.
Right, because this wasn't just like a routine hospital visit.
No, not at all.
At the time, he was 55 years old, filming a movie in Atlanta when he suffered what was, initially just called a medical complication.
Which is so vague.
Super vague. It took a while for the actual gravity of the situation to leak out.
Mm-hmm.
But we later learned, through various medical sources and insiders, that he had experienced a severe stroke caused by a brain bleed.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because a brain bleed isn't something you just bounce back from in a weekend. He was in a coma for 20 days.
20 days, yeah.
2.5 weeks of total radio silence. I remember when his oldest daughter, Corinne, who he shares with his ex, Connie Klein, when she broke the news on social media, the public panic was just immediate.
Oh, the internet was just churning out rumors. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Exactly. But what really stands out from the reporting is the intense, almost protective fortress his family built around him in the hospital.
And that fortress was essential. His other daughter, Alyce, whom he shares with Kristen Granis, took on a deeply poignant role. Fox actually later described her as his spiritual defibrillator.
Wow. Spiritual defibrillator. That's powerful.
Right. She would literally sit at his bedside playing her guitar, just trying to anchor him to the waking world through music.
It's just a beautifully heartbreaking image. But here's where the story shifts. Because while the public was furiously refreshing their feeds, trying to parse through all those vague PR statements, there was someone else inside that fortress.
Right.
Someone quietly standing right by his side through the absolute darkest, most terrifying moments of that recovery.
Enter Alyce Huckstepp.
And who is Alyce Huckstepp? Because trying to find information on her is, it's like trying to find a ghost online.
Completely. And that invisibility is entirely intentional. Alyce is an Australian former fitness model and business owner in her early 30s.
Okay.
And in an era where, proximity to an A-lister is immediately monetized, where everyone wants to be an influencer or launch a lifestyle brand, she has sprinted in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, and that contrast isn't just about their career choices, right? It's fundamentally about how they view visibility itself. Jamie Foxx is this massive 58-year-old superstar.
Huge. Oscar winner, Grammy winner.
Exactly. A stand-up comedian whose entire livelihood is based on living his life out loud, on a stage, under a spotlight. Meanwhile, Alyce has completely scrubbed her digital footprint. She deleted her Instagram. She just vanished from the public square.
Which tells us so much about her priorities.
Yeah.
Fox has always been somewhat guarded about his romantic life. He dated Katie Holmes for 6 years with, military-level secrecy.
Oh, yeah, nobody saw them together for years.
Right. But Alyce's approach is on another level entirely. Yet the timeline reveals they were actually connected well before the health scare.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Paparazzi spotted them at a Miami Beach nightclub back in March 2022. She even attended the premiere of his film, Day Shift, in August of that year, though they deliberately avoided posing together on the red carpet.
So the foundation was already there, and she was undeniably there during the terrifying 20-day coma and the grueling rehab that followed.
That's-
And once he was finally out of the woods, the world got its first real look at them together.
Good.
And the visuals the tabloids captured were incredibly cinematic. I'm thinking of their Labor Day weekend trip to Cabo San Lucas in September 2023.
Oh, those paparazzi photos from Cabo were striking.
Ah.
Mostly because of the sheer normalcy they project, which is a miracle given where he was just months prior.
Picture this, right? They're on this sun-drenched beach getaway. They step out in these perfectly matching outfits. She's wearing a white cropped halter top and black shorts. He's mirroring her in a white tee and black graphic pants, matching fedoras. In one of the most memorable shots, she's standing up on the wooden deck of a beach house, and Jamie is down on the sand, literally using a pair of binoculars to look out at the shoreline.
It's just a snapshot of total leisure. He looks vibrant, relaxed.
But I do have to push back a little here, or at least acknowledge the elephant in the room that absolutely dominated the comment sections online.
Ah, the age gap.
The age gap. Jamie is 58. Alyce is in her early 30s. We are talking about a 26-year age difference. It's like he's starring in his own romantic thriller, where the love interest is literally closer in age to his oldest daughter, Corinne, who was born in 1994, by the way, than she is to him.
It's a mathematically undeniable point.
Yeah.
And it's a dynamic that always draws public scrutiny, no matter who it is.
And Jamie himself knows it. He actually made a joke about this years ago. Back in 2017, he was on the Graham Norton show talking about the absurdities of dating as an older celebrity.
Oh, I remember this.
Right. He joked that he'd be at a club and younger girls would shout his name. He'd walk over to say hi and they'd yell back, "We go to school with your daughter."
Yeah, he was highly self-aware of how it looked. But if we look past the surface-level tabloid fodder, what's crucial to understand is the profound depth of their connection. Sources from Us Weekly and People emphasize that Alyce, quote, keeps him on his toes.
Okay.
She has a sharp sense of humor. She keeps up with his energy.
Yeah.
But more importantly, she didn't flee when the glamour vanished. One insider noted she was a relentless source of support throughout his recovery, spending as much time in that hospital room as humanly possible.
She was his rock when the Hollywood facade totally crumbled. I mean, it sounds like this beautiful, trauma-bonded relationship that survived the ultimate test of vows, sickness, and health without even being married.
You'd really think surviving a traumatic medical event together would solidify a bond forever.
You really would. But surviving the trauma was actually the easy part.
Yeah.
The real threat to their relationship wasn't medical. It was Jamie's need to make a Hollywood comeback. And by the way, listeners, if you're loving these twists and want to keep decoding the mechanics of celebrity life with us, make sure you're subscribed. We've got so much more to unpack.
Because the very thing that brought Jamie Foxx back to life almost destroyed everything.
Exactly.
This brings us to a classic, just devastating clash between private vulnerability and public persona.
So let's fast forward the timeline a bit to October 2024. Jamie Foxx is back. He is taping his highly anticipated Netflix stand-up special down in Atlanta, appropriately titled Jamie Foxx, What Had Happened Was. And Alyce is right there in the audience. Gail Kim actually posted a video on Instagram from the event, and you can see Alyce there toasting Jamie, celebrating the fact that he is back on his feet and doing what he loves.
She's supporting the man she helped nurse back to health. But we have to remember the fundamental nature of a comedian. Comedians process their trauma, their fear, and their life events by turning them into material.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Because in true comedian fashion, he doesn't just talk about his health. He turns his personal life into a punchline.
Yeah.
He's on stage playing the piano, joking about the stroke, singing that he's cured. But then he takes a hard pivot. He looks out at the audience and says, "I've been cured of everything. No more white girls. I'm serious. No more white girls."
And he didn't just drop the line and move on. He really expanded on the premise.
He completely doubled down. He told the crowd he was exclusively interested in dating on the black side of town, adding, "No more potato salad and raisins, no more white girls, no more spray tan." He just kept going, eventually trying to put a button on it by saying, "No more white girls in public."
What's fascinating here is this psychological mechanism at play. When a comedian experiences profound trauma and absolute physical helplessness, their immediate defense mechanism upon recovering is to reclaim their power.
Interesting.
And they do that by controlling the narrative on stage. But in doing so, he took the quiet, fiercely private reality of his relationship and just fed it to the masses for laughs.
Wait, I'm struggling to understand this pivot, though. If she was literally the anchor who pulled him through a 20-day coma, Why on earth would his immediate instinct upon getting back on stage be to publicly mock her demographic?
It's wild,
It
right?
feels completely counterintuitive. Why bite the hand that just healed you?
Because vulnerability is terrifying, especially for someone whose entire brand is built on being untouchably cool. By mocking the relationship, he creates emotional distance. It's a way to signal to the audience, hey, I'm back, I'm edgy, I'm not that fragile guy in the hospital bed anymore.
Wow, it feels almost like a squid spraying ink.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
The moment the emotional intimacy of his recovery and her presence got too real, too public, he just sprayed out this controversial, abrasive comedy routine to create a smokescreen. He retreated back into the safety of his untouchable comedian persona, but he did it at her expense.
And she is an Australian white woman who explicitly scrubbed her social media to avoid public scrutiny.
Exactly. The internet, of course, predictably blew up. Fans were dissecting the clips on TikTok and Twitter, trying to figure out if it was just an edgy bit or if he was genuinely announcing a breakup on a Netflix stage.
And the viral fallout was very real. By January 2025, just a few months after that taping, multiple sources, including People magazine, confirmed that Jamie and Alyce had officially split.
Oh, man.
He essentially joked his way out of a supportive relationship. It really highlights the profound difficulty of loving an entertainer. The private reality of their bond just couldn't withstand the public persona he felt compelled to project.
Yeah.
The sources noted that after his recovery, Foxx shifted his focus entirely back to his career. Work became his #1 priority, and the relationship basically became collateral damage in his comeback tour.
I mean, put yourself in her shoes for a second. How do you date a comedian when you know your private life might be used as a punchline for millions of Netflix subscribers? Especially when you've gone out of your way to be a ghost online. It had to feel like a massive betrayal of trust.
It undoubtedly did,
Yeah.
which makes the next phase of this timeline so extraordinary.
Because you'd think they're completely done, right? He's focusing on his career, acting like nothing happened. She's back to her quiet, private life off the grid. The credits roll.
Right.
But that brings us to the shocking twist nobody saw coming.
The Nobi reunion.
Yes. Let's look at April 2025. It had only been about 2 or 3 months since the split was confirmed to the press. Paparazzi managed to spot Jamie and Alyce leaving Nobu in Malibu. Now, they were careful. They left separately. But photographers caught them in the parking lot sharing a laugh. Jamie was leaning over, showing her something on his phone that clearly amused her.
If we look back at the chronology of their relationship, there is such poetic symmetry to that specific location. Nobu in Malibu is the exact same restaurant where they made their very first public debut as a couple back in August 2023, right after he was cleared from his medical crisis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Returning to that specific spot signaled a deliberate thawing of the ice.
It was a very quiet testing of the waters, and clearly those waters warmed up fast. Because cut to May 2026, just weeks ago, TMZ drops an absolute bombshell that totally shakes up the entertainment news cycle.
Yeah, Alyce Huckstepp is several months pregnant. This raises an important question about how they managed to keep something so massive completely under the radar. It was a staggering revelation, especially considering the very public nature of their breakup just a year prior.
So, what does this all mean? My mind is just buzzing with the implications of this. Jamie Foxx, at 58 years old, a man who survived a near-death experience, a grueling coma, and a public breakup driven by his own defense mechanisms on a comedy stage, is now stepping into fatherhood for the 3rd time.
The generational spacing of his children is a story in itself, actually. His eldest daughter, Corinne, was born in 1994, and Alyce was born 14 years later in 2008. Now, 2026, 18 years after Alyce, he is starting over with a newborn.
It's basically 3 entirely different eras of Jamie Foxx's life. You have the
Okay.
In Living Color and Ray era in the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
Then the established Oscar-winning Hollywood statesman era, and now the post-stroke second chance survivor era.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the emotional arc here is profound. Foxx has been incredibly vocal over the last year about crediting his daughters for saving his life. Family is the literal mechanism that pulled him back from the brink of death.
Yeah.
And now he is expanding that very family unit with the woman who stood quietly in the background through the absolute hardest physical challenge he ever faced.
It really recontextualizes the whole timeline. All the edgy jokes on stage, all the relentless career ambition. At the end of the day, when the noise faded, he went back to the person who knew him when he was entirely stripped of his stardom, lying helpless in a hospital bed.
But consider what this says about Alyce's character, too. Despite the profound public embarrassment of that Netflix special and the sting of being collateral damage to his career, she chose to forgive.
Yeah, that takes a lot.
She chose to build a family with him. It shows a remarkable resilience and a deep understanding of who he is beneath the comedian's armor.
It's a testament to the fact that private reality is always more complex than public perception. And listeners, if you want to keep exploring the hidden mechanics of pop culture, stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because if there's one thing this timeline proves, it's that you can never guess the final act of a Hollywood life.
Which leaves us with a fascinating final thought to consider. When a global superstar physically looks death in the eye, does it fundamentally rewire what they want their legacy to be? Perhaps for Jamie Foxx, the ultimate comeback wasn't going to be another blockbuster movie role or a sold-out comedy special. The ultimate comeback was choosing to start a brand new life, entirely off the grid, with the one person who knew him at his absolute most vulnerable.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.